Okay, after taking my MBTI test, as well as what kind of learner I am, I figured out that I am INFJ, which means that I am intuitive. INFJ stands for intuition, introverted, feelings, and judgment. And basically this means that I am the advocate, which means I'm very observant and that I try to see both sides, and that this means I have undertones of being a mediator. And basically what that means, or what I learned that means, is that I am like Yoda from Star Wars, Sam Winchester from Supernatural, as well as Alice from Twilight. And what this means is that in any kind of situation, whether it be an argument or just anything, I try to see both sides, the logical and the emotional side. And that's why that's much rarer in different personality types, especially when it comes to like different extroverted personality types like the ENFP or ESTP or things like that. But basically, being an INFJ, that means that I'm very organized. And another rare thing about my personality type is that it means I gravitate towards both introverts and extroverts, whereas like most extroverts gravitates towards introverts because they balance each other out. And same thing with introverts, they gravitate. But because of the judgment part and the introverted part of my personality type, according to my sources, that means that I gravitate towards all different kinds so I can balance them out. Another thing is that because I'm a visual learner, which my entire life I've just been much more interested in things I can see while I'm doing them, like art and math, or like math that's involved in science classes, like things that I can work out and I can see visually is the things that I learn with the most. Like whenever I study for things, I always like copy down so I can read it over and over again and I can see it. I've never been one for like lectures and things like that, and apparently that is a common thing for INFJ. Okay, sorry for the change in quality. The camera is over here, by the way. That's why I keep looking over here, because it's where I am and I'm watching myself. But my phone ran out of storage and I deleted a bunch of things to try and create the video again, but it did not work. So I'm just continuing on my iPad. I apologize again for the jump cut, but yes. And the reason I like different math classes and different art classes is because I can physically watch the process be thought out. Like with art, you see layers upon layers of things before the final product, and same way with math. Like you what's an example? You can foil things, just you put things into a graphing calculator and you see the reason why things do things. But and I'm not a very auditory learner, like I said before. I don't do very well with lectures and things like that. It doesn't make much sense to me. And in class is a very good example of me being a visual learner, is in class is if somebody is doing something else in front of me. I usually sit in the middle of the classroom, like in the middle desks. So if somebody's doing anything in front of me, like on their computer, like whether it be taking notes or just anything like that, or like watching something, like I always gravitate towards what they're doing because I'm observing the different things in the classroom. So if somebody is doing something, or if there's something cool like going on alongside the teaching, I will definitely be focusing on that as well. Like for example, Miss Williams' room is a very good example of this because there are paintings all over the room, like the maid that's at the front that's holding up the wall with the brick, or the Great Gatsby painting on the side. Like there's just many things to look at in that room. So like a lot of the times whenever I think of a certain lesson, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that day when I was looking at this, or whenever this person was doing this in the classroom. And honestly, it's a very good way to remember things. But I don't know, that just kind of contributes to how I'm a visual learner. And like I said before, I think I said this already, I'm not exactly sure, but if I did, I'm sorry. Okay, apparently all of my devices are almost out of storage because my iPad also just ran out of storage and cut off the other video. But let me summarize. I apologize for the change in everything. But one of the reasons that it makes sense for me to be a visual learner is that INFJ people are very observant in the fact that they look at both sides of the, like whenever there's an argument or something like that, like I look at both sides of the spectrum to see if I can make sense of everybody's opinion, to see if I can understand why people think the way they do, and things like that. But yeah, it just makes sense that a visual learner would be more observant, and that is things I convert to memory. Like, whenever somebody tells me something, it doesn't mean as much as when I see it myself, if that makes sense. Like, somebody will be like, oh, hold on, let me think. As an example, let's say that somebody says, oh, these trees are very pretty in the spring. In my mind, I'm like, okay, yeah, noted. These trees are very pretty in the spring. But if I see it myself, it is a whole different thing. Okay, but anyways, the moral of the story is that I'm an INFJ, and that means I'm the advocate, and I'm very observant, and that my visual learning style matches up with my MBTI type because INFJ people are very observant.